In August 1945, the city of Hiroshima awoke under a clear, tranquil sky, unaware that within minutes it would become the site of humanity's darkest hour. At precisely 8:15 a.m., a blinding flash tore through the morning, followed by a wave of fire that swallowed the city whole. In an instant, homes vanished, streets melted, and tens of thousands of lives were extinguished before a scream could escape their lips. Among the few who survived were young schoolgirls, barely in their teens, assigned to clear debris near the city center. When the atomic bomb exploded, they were less than a mile from the hypocenter. The blast hurled them through the air. Their skin burned, their faces melted, their childhoods turned to ash. One of them, 16-year-old Shigeko Nemoto, awoke beneath the ruins of a building that no longer existed, her face unrecognizable, her hands blistered, the air around her heavy with the scent of burning flesh. As she stumbled toward the river, she saw others, their bodies charred and broken, crawling into the water seeking relief from a pain beyond comprehension. The river was silent, except for the faint whispers of the dying. In the weeks that followed, Hiroshima became a graveyard of shadows. The survivors, known as Hibakusha, lived hidden from the world, burdened by scars that made them outcasts in their own homeland. But from this pain, a quiet strength emerged. A group of these women, once classmates, found one another again. Together they formed an unspoken sisterhood, bound by suffering yet determined not to be forgotten. They called themselves the Hiroshima Maidens not as victims, but as survivors who carried within them the truth of what the world had done. A decade later, in 1955, their story reached the United States through an American journalist named Norman Cousins. Struck by their courage, he resolved to help. Through his efforts, 25 of the Maidens were brought to America for reconstructive surgery, a mission of humanity between two nations once at war. When they arrived in New York, the glare of reporters' cameras greeted them, echoing the light that had once destroyed their city. But instead of fear, they were met with compassion. At Mount Sinai Hospital, they underwent countless operations, skin grafts, facial reconstructions, and long nights of pain. One of them, Miyoko Matsubara, who had hidden her face for 10 years, said softly, "I want to smile again, not for myself, but so people are not afraid to look at me." Her words revealed a truth deeper than suffering, the desire to be seen not as a victim of war, but as a human being. During their recovery, American families opened their homes, inviting the Maidens into their lives. They were taken to parks, theaters, and gatherings where strangers welcomed them with open arms. Slowly, laughter returned. For the first time since that morning in 1945, they felt life reaching out to them again. When they returned to Japan, their faces had changed, but so had their spirits. They began visiting schools, sharing their stories with children who had only heard of the war through history books. They spoke not with anger, but with a deep and quiet clarity, reminding the world that the true horror of war is not in the weapons, but in the suffering they cause. Some of the Maidens lived quietly, never marrying, dedicating their lives to peace. Others built families, carrying forward a message born from fire and pain. Decades have passed, yet their story endures, a testament to human endurance, forgiveness, and the fragile beauty of compassion. The Hiroshima Maidens stand as living proof that even from the ashes of destruction, humanity can find the strength to heal. Their scars became symbols not of tragedy, but of resilience. They taught that peace is not built by governments or treaties, but by the courage of those who choose empathy over hatred. The world may one day forget the details of war, but it must never forget them, the young women who once walked through fire and emerged with hearts still capable of love. In their story lies a message that transcends time. Even in the darkest shadow of human cruelty, light can be reborn through compassion, courage, and the will to forgive.